Hello, my beautiful and precious friends. This is Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks. If you're new to my channel, I welcome you. I'm so glad you're here. If you are a faithful follower, I'm also glad you're here, and thank you so much for being a part of my family, my yarn family. And friends, I am going to show you how to make this scarf. It is beautiful. I love how it turned out, partly because my favorite yarn, one of my favorite yarns, is Lion Brand Heartland yarn. The colors are like jewel tones, like they're so pretty, and they all go together just beautifully. I have chosen 3 different colors, and I'm not going to attempt to try to remember what the names are without the yarn jackets in front of me, but they'll be down in the description box below. I also mention them at the beginning of the video as I use them. And so you're going to need 1 ball of each color, of all 3 colors, and you're going to be able to make this scarf, and you're going to be able to make a matching beanie that you will also find on my channel. All right, so we are going to get started on this, but I want to also tell you that you can use whichever machine you like. I use my 40 needle Sentro because I love the width of a scarf and of ear warmers and headbands on the 40 needle Sentro, but it'll be just as beautiful on your 46 needle Addi or your 48 needle Sentro, whatever you choose. You can even make a skinny scarf and do it on your 22 needle, but then I would adjust the row lengths and make them a little bit shorter than what I have here. You'll have to play with it and figure it out. So I'm going to use my 40 needle Sentro for this project. I also made it so it has magnetic clasps, so you can wear it like this. Well, I'm going to show you, because if you wear it like this, you can also tighten it up and wear it a little closer to your neck and have this thrown over and then tie up your jacket, and it looks very, very nice that way too. You can leave it down lower. You can wear it just as an accessory and have it quite a bit lower and just wear it when you have your jacket off if you still need a little bit of extra warmth. This makes you feel a little cozy. You can do that. You can, the reason why I put magnetic snaps, because like I mentioned in the video, you can sew this and you don't have to use magnetic snaps on it. But if I choose to wear it just down like this, yes, I know that you see these clasps, but you turn this over. You turn this over and you see the inside clasps there, but if you layer it in your jacket just like this, then you don't have a big bulky double layered chunk right here, and it works that way too. You can just even fold it over like that, whatever. So you still have options because it's such a nice length. It's not too short, it's not too long. But I made it mostly so you can wear it with the magnetic clasps, and those will be down in the description box below, of course. And then you put this through and you wear it however the length you want it. So again, wear it as an accessory just over a sweater like this. Or of course, it looks beautiful under your jacket. I'm going out tonight and I can't wait to wear it. I love it. I love the colors. They're some of my favorite colors. And it's still cold here in Manitoba, but this is like a woolly kind of jacket. It's not like a winter jacket that I should be wearing, but I'm going to be indoors after a while, and I'm going to want to stay a little bit warm. So I'm going to just wear this, and I'm wearing this whole outfit. And doesn't it look pretty? I love it. I think it looks great. The little wooden buttons just add to it. So friends, grab your favorite yarn, whether it's the same, I got to take this off, way too hot. Whether it's the same brand as what I'm using, Lion Brand Heartland yarn, or whether it's your favorite 4-weight yarn of your choice, you go ahead and grab it. You might use a 3-weight, whatever your little heart's desire. Grab your 3 colors of yarn and let's make this beautiful scarf together. Have fun. Don't forget to show me in my Facebook group. And friends, one quick mention, I have a Buy Me a Coffee link down below. If you enjoy this video and you want to help support my channel in that way, I love it when you click on that little link, and it does help me. I just went out and bought a major haul of yarn for some of the next videos that I'm going to do, and so I just wanted to take this time to thank all of you in the last while who have pushed that little link and helped support my channel in that way. I do use that money to buy yarn and things that make this channel possible, so thank you so much. Have fun, friends, and I'll see you in the next clip. I am choosing to use my 40 needle Sentro. I better dust this thing off because I haven't used it in a bit. But I do love the width that it makes for a scarf and ear warmers. It's my favorite machine for that kind of a project. And we're going to start with waste yarn. We're going to make a flat edge on both edges of our scarf. So we need to start with waste yarn so that we can see those stitches in order to close it in the right way at the end. So I'm going to bring my last white and my first black needle in line with my yarn feeder. Now if you're going by these little numbers here, then yours, I say this in every video because I truly can't see them, but yours might be like this, where this is your last one and this is your first one. But I don't pay attention to the numbers on any of my machines. Like, I never pay attention to them. All I do is I choose which one I want to be first, and for me, it's always the one that's a single color is always my first one. So I take a black permanent marker and I mark that divider between the last white and the first black. And my first needle is going to be the black. I'm going to do the drawstring cast on with my waste yarn. I'm going to go in front of that first black, behind, in front, behind, and in front, all the way around. I'm not putting any tension on this yarn. I'm just letting it slip through my fingers so that in the next round it can easily slip down over those needles and onto those two little pink teeth. And it should be behind that last white into the yarn feeder. When you're using Sentros, push it down at the front here because it's got to go into that little nook there if the needles are going to pick it up properly. And of course, why would I have a knot in my yarn when I'm just starting? Well, because sometimes that's just how it is, right? So let me just get rid of that knot. All right, so having won that first little battle, I am going to just hold my yarn between my fingers like that, just with a very light tension. I very rarely use the tensioners. However, I will put them in the tensioner when I start my project. But I'm going to go slowly this first round, making sure those loops drop down and we don't split our yarn between those little pink teeth and our needle doesn't miss the yarn strand here. There's no weight helping to push it down, so we have to take the extra time to go slow. And I'm going to knit 7 rows. Once you get a first few rows in, then you should have no problem. I think this is row 4. I can't remember, but I'm going to do 7. I'm going to say this is 4. 5. 6. And I'll do one more, and on the last round I'm going to turn my row counter on. And 7. So I'm going to just hit this little, see how it woke up? I don't know if you can see the counter in the angle that I have the camera, but it's been off for a while. I haven't used this. So it just, once the magnet hit this, it automatically woke it up to the last number that was on it. I'm going to press it and set it to 0. So it's ready to go. I'll link these counters in the description box below. I absolutely love them. I have one on my 48 needle Sentro as well. I need to get one for my mushroom. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to cut off this yarn tail, pop it in between the last white and the first black, and let that just drop into the center. We're going to take our first color, and I'm using Lion Brand Heartland yarn and in the color Glacier Bay. Oh, you guys, it is gorgeous. And we're going to pop that into the yarn feeder in between the last white and the first black, and I'm going to actually put this one in the second tensioner of my Sentro here. And I'm going to hold both of these tails and I'm going to knit 4 or 5 needles. Then I'm going to help these down and I'm going to take both yarn tails of my working yarn, pull them away from each other to snug up the tension on those first few needles so I don't have a looser tension there than what I do on the rest of my project. Go slow on this first. And I'm going to just let it use my tensioner. I rarely use my tensioner, but for this one I'm going to, just because I need to help hold this machine down. I have my Addi clamps on the back. If you go to my techniques playlist on my channel, I'll show you how I use my Addi clamps on my Sentro, but it still likes to bounce up a little bit unless I put it on my Colin Knits and Knacks glass tray, which I forgot to do, and I might do that partway into the video here, but I'm going to make sure it's loose coming out of my ball. Now that we got a good start on it, we've got the first couple of rows. We're going to go with this first color, color A. I'm using 3 colors, color A, B, and C. Color A, I'm going to knit 30 rows. So you go ahead, continue on knitting 30 rows with color A. And when you have 30 rows done, I'll see you back. I'm going to switch out my machine and hook it up the way I normally do, which I didn't this time. 30 rows. Have fun, friends. I have finished my 30 rows. I also took my Knacks Knacks tray here. This is a smooth plastic tray, so my suction cup suction down better onto it, and then I clamp this tray down onto my table, and that's how I generally do it. I had forgotten for the first part of the video, but I have knit 30 rows of my color A, and this is the side that is going to fold over on itself to make that fancy edging that we stick our other end of our scarf through. And so the reason why I stopped at 30 is because I wanted to tell you that this will be the underside. So then when I fold it up, I don't want to see a different color on that edge. So if it's folded like this, I don't want to see the different color there. So this will be the part that folds over, but I want it to fold over on its same color again, so I don't see a color difference on the edge of that fold. So we're going to knit another 30 rows. So that's why instead of telling you 60 at the beginning, I wanted to explain to you why we're doing so much in this first color. I'm going to knit another 30 rows until I have 60 rows completed on my counter. I am using the second tensioner of this Sentro, and it's working fine, making sure that the yarn strand that's coming out of the ball is loose. All right, I'll see you at row 60. I just clicked on row 60, and I'm going to watch for that black divider. Now you can see why it's so important to color that with a black permanent marker. I'm going to put it in front of my yarn feeder, just like that, and I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut this tail off. Our first section is completed. Taking my second color, color B, it's called Kobuk Valley. Oh, you guys, well, you know from if you are a watcher of my channel, you know that I love this yarn. Heartland Yarn is one of my favorites. That and latte care and latte cakes. But we're going to take this Kobuk Valley color, aren't those beautiful together? And we're going to pop it into the center. Then we're going to do a jogless join. We're going to go around to the other side of that needle, because for those of you who are new, when we're knitting in the round, and every row goes one on top of the other as it comes around. And we want to do a jogless join, because by tightening these two strands, which we will do after we knit about 4 or 5 rows, we're going to pull on them and bring it down together so that you don't have a jog in your join. It's going to be straight. And so we're going to take that second color, we're going to put it on the other side of that white needle. We're going to knit 4 or 5 needles. We're going to help see how loose these loops are. We're going to help them down, then we're going to pull away from each other to tighten that up. We're going to knit 15 rows of this color, which will take us to row 75, but after 5 rows or so, we're going to tighten that join. I'll just stick with you. This is row 1 and 2 of the 15, 3. It's easier to do when it's a little bit further down, 4. And my counter is continuing on, so I don't have to really worry about it. I'm going to pass the yarn feeder here. And once it's a little bit past, I'm going to take these 2 tails and I'm going to gently pull them away from each other. You can feel when it's in place. You can hear it too. And then I'm going to tie this one lightly and then this one tighter. If I tie the first one really tight, then it's going to pull on in here, and we don't want that. Cut that off. And I'm going to finish knitting the 15 rows till I have row 75 completed on my counter. Before I go any farther, you see that my project is touching the table. If we don't take care of that, it's going to start bunching up, and you could drop a loop off of these pink teeth and drop your row. Once it starts to touch the table, you're going to pick it up and you're going to roll it into what we call a donut. That prevents what I just told you, but it also helps to keep the tension around the inside of the barrel here nice and tight, and it helps that strand of yarn to go down over the needle and onto those pink teeth. So that's why we do that. All right, I'm going to continue on. I have 5 more rows. Watching for that black divider to come around. I'm going to stop it in the front there. I'm going to cut off this color B, pop that in between the last white and the first black. Then I'm going to go back and take my color A. We're going to pop it in. We're going to do our jogless join around to the other side. We're going to knit 4 or 5 needles. We're going to pull both ends away from each other. We're going to knit 5 rows, taking us to row 80, but I'm going to stop after the 4th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to tell you the patterning very soon for the rest of the scarf, till close to the end. This is the beginning of row 5. We're going to fix our jogless join. And cut that off. I'm going to finish my last row of color A. Watching for that black divider to come around. And there we go. I'm going to cut that yarn tail, keeping it handy because we're going to grab it on a regular basis. We're going to take our last color, color C, which is Rocky Mountain. Let me find the tail. Taking that yarn tail, we're going to pop it into the center between the last white, the first black. We are going to do a jogless join. This is color C. We're going to knit 4 or 5 needles. We're going to help our tension, popping those under, pulling away from each other. That one didn't need it much. We're going to knit 15 rows of this color, taking us to row 95. But I'm going to knit about 4 or 5 rows, and then I'm going to fix my jogless join. Three, 4, and here we go. Let's take those tails, gently pull them away from each other, tie them off, cut them off, finish 15 rows until we get to row 95 and finish row 95, and then we'll do the last section on our 4th section repeat. I've just completed my 15 rows. I'm going to roll up my donut. We're going to cut off that tail. We're going to take color A, which is our blue. We're going to pop this between the last white, the first black. We're going to take color A. We're going to do a jogless join. We're going to knit 4 or 5 needles. We're going to fix the tension. We're going to knit 5 rows of this color. After row 4, we are going to tie off our jogless join. And one more. I'll let it pass my yarn feeder there, and then we'll tie it off. Cut it off. I'll finish this 5th row, watching for that black divider to come around. We should have completed 100 rows on our counter. Now, friends, that is going to be our 4. Once we did this first color, that's our fold over for our little loop that we want to make to hold the other end of our scarf. We did 15 rows of, this is color A, 15 rows of color B, 5 rows of color A, 15 rows of color C, 5 rows of color A. We're going to repeat this section until we have 220 rows completed on our counter. So we're going to do 15B, 5A, 15C, 5A, 15B, 5A, 15C, 5A, and keep repeating this section until we get to the end. And that end, before we do our final section, your row counter will say 220. All right, so basically we're repeating this patterning, this 4-section patterning for 160 rows. All right, because we did 60 of the blue at the beginning. Take care, have fun, enjoy the process, and we'll see you at row 220. I just finished row 220, and there we go. And that ended me on my 5 rows of my color A. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to alternate now to color B, because we did our pink blue, green, blue, and I'm going to do pink now, which is color B. That's not the name of the yarn, but just for the sake of saying this quickly, because I forget the names unless I look at them again, because they're such beautiful, different kinds of names. But anyways, we're going to do a jogless join. We're going to knit 4 or 5 needles. This is color B if you're using different colors. And we are going to knit 15 rows, taking us to row 235. Okay, I'm going to knit 4 of those rows before I tie off my jogless join. And then I'm going to continue on until I have rows 235 done on my counter, and that's 15 rows of this color B, and I'll see you back. All right, wasn't that fun? Didn't take long at all. I'm going to cut off that yarn tail, make sure it goes between the last white and the first black. We are going to grab that waste yarn that we have. And if the waste yarn that you chose at the beginning of your project is similar to the one that you ended your project with, then choose a different one. You want to be able to see the contrast of color. It makes it easier when you want to close your end, all right? So we're going to pop that in. We don't need to fix tension because waste yarn is coming out. We are just going to knit as many rows as you're comfortable knitting. I'm going to knit 7. If you're using a waste yarn that is really silky and shiny and slippery, then you're going to want to knit more than 7 rows because it's going to start unraveling on you. My suggestion is don't use slippery, silky yarn ever when you're using waste yarn. You need something a little bit coarser feeling so it doesn't start to unravel. And you see on many of the projects that I do that I will actually cut a long tail long enough to go around my barrel 1.5 to 2 times, and I'll do the drawstring cast off, and that will hold those loops so that it doesn't start to unravel. But for a project like this, I'm going to close this end right away, so I'm not going to bother doing that. I think that's enough. I always lose track when I'm talking to you. It's your fault, but we're going to cut this off. We're going to pop it in between the last white and the first black. We're going to rotate our handle so that our barrel does 2 full rotations. On the second one, it's going to start letting go. See, there we go. I love it. Awesome. And these last 2 almost always give me problems, but you just help them off. There's always got to be a couple in the group that want to give you some trouble. And there we go. We have our beautiful scarf. I'm going to remove my machine and I'll see you right back. Having removed our project, we're going to unroll it. Just like that, getting it all the way undone. This is our end. This is the one that unravels really easily. And you know it's the end because your yarn tails start to go to the inside, whereas the yarn tails in this one naturally fall to the outside. And we're going to stretch it widthwise. These colors are so beautiful together. And lengthwise, which really we did as we unrolled it, it stretches itself. Just like that. We're going to take our end where it unravels easily because we didn't do the drawstring cast off to catch up those stitches. We're going to grab, sorry about that, I had to remove some knitting needles out of my way so I can grab 2 stitch markers. And we're going to take our tail of our waste yarn, and that last loop that it's going through, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick that up with our stitch marker. Take that tail outside of your work. Your second stitch marker, your working yarn here is attached to this last loop right there. That's the one you're going to mark. I have used my 40 needle machine, so I am going to go around to stitch 20 and 21. And that will give me the very far side here. If you're using your 46 needle Addi, you're going to go around to 23 and 24. If you're using your 48 needle Sentro, you're going to go 24 and 25. But this is my 40, so I'm going to go count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This is 20 and 21. I'm going to go under stitch 21. There we go. this will count as number 1 of the stitches worked. I'm going to go up to 20, and I'm going to pick it up with my hook, bring it through the loop on my hook. I've now worked 2 stitches. If you are new, you need to count your stitches so that you do not miss one of these loops. If you miss one of these loops, when you take your waste yarn off, that row is going to start unraveling. So now I have 2. I'm going to go down to the bottom here. I'm going to pick up the next one, work it through, 3, up to the top, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to go all the way down. Many people say they can't do this and they get freaked out. I hear it all the time actually, because they don't crochet. And I tell this all the time, and hopefully everybody is starting to hear this. So they stop panicking. This is not crochet. You're using this hook because there's a hook, and it makes it easier to pick up these stitches. You're not yarning over and picking up stitches and making fancy stitches. You're just using the crochet hook, but it's not crochet. You're not crocheting here. So don't get that in your head. You can do this. You can hold a hook and snag a stitch very easily. I know you can. Anybody can do that. So friends, don't let the crochet hook scare you into not doing this, because it makes such a beautiful edge. And we're going to go down. When you're counting, which I didn't need to do, but when you are counting and you're using your 40 needle, this will always be 39. If you're using your Addi 46 needle machine, if you've done it right, this will always be 45. This will be 46. If you're using your Sentro, 47, 48. And if your counts are not that, then before you take off your waste yarn, rip it out, go take it back and start over. Make sure you don't miss a loop. Pick up on that stitch marker, work that loop. Then I'm going to take my working yarn tail. I'm going to yarn over, bring it through, and pull it snug. Then all you got to do is take your waste yarn, tail, oops, where'd my end go? There we go. Okay, well, there we go. And you're going to just pull it off. It just comes off very easily. And you can wind it up as you go if you like. I'm going to just do it quickly like this for your sake, so you don't have to. And there we go. And you have a beautiful finish. Going to the other side. Now we did a drawstring cast on, so this is not going to unravel without you taking out the first row first. But I'm going to show you how you find your stitches, and then you're going to work them up the same way we did the other side. Taking your waste yarn. The last loop that it's going through is this one. See if I take the, there we go. The last loop that goes through on my working yarn is this loop. I'm going to mark it with my stitch marker. Then where my working yarn is here, right beside it is that stitch. You're going to take that one. I maybe should have used even a greater contrasting yarn for your sake, but hopefully you saw that. I'm going to count around till 20 and 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. This counts as number 1 on my hook. And I go up to 20, work it. That's 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to work it across just like I did the other side, and I'll see you when I get to the end. All right, having finished that, I'm going to then roll up my waste yarn. We're going to find that very top row, and you know what it is. If you pull on, you can rock between that stitch. You're going to pinch the stitch, and I'm about 5 or 6 stitches in. Pull that out. Go down. Pinch a stitch, and I always skip about 7, 8, 10 stitches. And there we go. I'm going to go down. Pinch the stitch. If you don't pinch the stitch, it'll gather in there and get a big knot. So pinch the stitch and pull. And almost done. And once you get that top row out, you just pull the rest off. Just like this. And there we go. We have that one done. I'm going to grab my needle and we're going to hide our ends. So pretty. You guys, if you could only see my craft room right now, you would say, Shelley, I didn't know you could get that messy. It is crazy in here. Like, seriously, it's like a tornado went off or something, went through the room. I don't know why I was going to knot that. I don't need to because it's already knotted. And I'm just going to go underneath the stitches here in one direction. I'm not going to pull because I want to keep that corner a corner. If you pull on it, you're gonna compromise the look of it. And I'm just going to go back the other way. But in all honesty, I bought a bunch of yarn. I got some different supplies, and everything is just kind of hanging out on the floor here, and I have to organize them and put it away. And I'm going to go back one more time. Then I'm going to take this again and hide it into my work between the two layers and cut it off. If I don't put it between the two layers and I just cut it off up here, you'll see a little strand that sticks out. Eventually, you'll have the little frayed edge sticking out. You don't want that, so hide it in between your work. Taking the other side, I'm going to do the exact same thing. All right, finish this side, come back and see me. All right, so there you go. Smooth it all out. I'll just show you here a section of it. So isn't that absolutely beautiful? Let's look at our jogless joins and see if we can find where they actually are. Can't see it in there. It's along the side here. Look how straight that is. That's what happens when you do a jogless join. Otherwise, you have one row that's on top of the other, and it looks really messy. This looks like it's a seamless join, and it's absolutely beautiful. All right, I measured this, and it's about 50 inches long, maybe 50 and a half, somewhere in there, and it's going to be the perfect length. I'm going to take this side here, where I have my longer piece that we started with, and this is going to be folded up here. And the reason why I was trying to explain to you at the beginning was because here we don't have a color change, and this looks like the one piece because it's just, well, it is the one piece, but it just gives you a nicer finish than if you were to do half of this in a different color and then fold it up. It wouldn't be nearly as nice. So that's just a little attention to detail when you're doing your row counts for this type of scarf. That's why I did what I did. I'm going to fold that up like that. I'm going to take my metal clasps. I get these on Amazon, and I will link them in the description box below. I've used them on a couple projects, and I think they're brilliant. And yeah, when I think of projects to use them on, I am excited to use them, and this is one of them. They come, you have to get a piece like this, and a piece like this, and then there's the other half too. Let me see if I can find it here. Just like that. So we've got our two ends that go in together like that. So I need to get 4 of these. Or do I need 2? I just need 2 of those. Haven't used these in a bit now. I have to think about it. And I'm going to get 2 of these other ends, 2 silver, 2 gold, or 2 gold, and let's see. See, they hold really, really well. I don't want silver here. I want gold. They come with this package came with silver and with gold, which is nice because then you have the options for what you need. I've got this one here is what I need. All right. So you get your pieces that you need. Stick that aside. I'm going to those are going to go together like that, but you need one on the top and obviously one on this piece here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this flatter, smaller side on this section here. So what you're going to do is you're going to, actually you need 4 of these flat rings. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this across here. I know that if I'm using my 40 needle Sentro and this is in half, then there's 20 rows here. I'm going to go in about 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to pop that about 3 stitches down. I'm going to take the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to pop that about 3 stitches down. And that looks about right to me. Okay, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to pop it onto the back. Now, yeah, you're going to have to deal with the fact that this is on the back, but
you're not going to see it because it's against your body. And then you're going to take something really solid, because if you use your fingers, it's hard to do. I'm going to take the end of my scissors and I'm going to push that down. And when you take the end of your scissors and you do it, or something harder, it's not hard to do. I mean, it's not like the easiest thing in the world, but it's not unmanageable. Take a pair of pliers and squeeze them together even. And there you go. I'm going to push that down. And you've got one on. I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other one on this side. I had to do it off the tray here. That's why I actually went off camera, because I was realizing when I was pushing down on this one that this metal pushing against this plastic might crack it, and I didn't want to risk that. So then you're going to take your second piece. You can pop it onto there so that you can line it up. Line up your edging here and your edging here. Push that through. And you're going to take another one. And you're going to close the edges, the ends there, and you're going to do the same on this side. So I'm going to just take this off camera. I'm going to put it on the other part of my surface of my counter, and I'm going to bend those ones down. Don't worry, we're not going to see this. There we go. I have them both on. Now, if you don't want to use metal magnetic clasps, you can just sew this down. Even right across the whole top there, sew it down nice and evenly, or just in a couple spots here. But I want to be able to open this up. And just, if I just want to wrap it around and tie it and don't want that extra bulk there, then I have that option to do that as well. And not only that, I just think it's a cool idea, and I think it works very nicely. I love it. I'm going to take a button, a big wooden button, and I'm going to sew it over this. So I'm just going to put it through there, but I'm going to go, you're not going to get it through that section there. So I'm just going to go on the one side here, bring it up on the other side, go through that other part of my button, just like that, and that helps you to grab that when you're unsnapping it too. And I'm going to go back through. Just like that. And up. I only need to go through twice. I'm going to cut this off. I like a little rustic tie at the top here, so that's why I'm not tying it on the other end. I'm going to tie a firm knot here, and then I'm going to just cut this off really quite short. I'm going to take my needle, and I'm going to just fray it. There's not much to fray there, but I like how that looks. I'm going to do it to the second one, and I'll see you back. There we go, all done. So then when it's around your neck, you're going to take this end and you're going to pop it through there. And you have a beautiful, beautiful scarf. Or if you want to just undo it so that you don't have a thicker part here when you wrap it around your neck, then you have that option too. To just wrap it around your neck as you normally would. Either way. There you go, friends. You can put a fringe on this end if you want. I'm just going to leave it plain. I love the simplicity of this, but yet the elegance. I think it looks beautiful.
And there it is. Isn't it beautiful? Thanks a lot for joining me, friends. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to show me your scarves in my Facebook group. Please, I want to always see. So many of you I know make my projects on my channel, and many of you show me and show the rest in my group, but many of you don't, so please do, because we love to cheer you on and we love to see your projects when they're finished as well. If you are posting in other Facebook groups, always share the link, never the real counts. I would appreciate that so very, very much. All right, friends, thanks for being a part of my journey. Thanks for being a part of my community. I just really, truly love and appreciate you all. So take care until the next video. Have a blessed day.